This week I had to pick a second winner because my first winner did not respond as quickly. But to keep things fair and honest, I do want to show who the first winner was. Libby, if you see this, send me a message and I will still make you free artwork. I should have explained my rules ahead of time. I have about 24 hours to find out who the winner is going to be and to start the artwork if I want to stay on time. I wanted to have a winner picked for Friday, and then just a couple other things came up. The winner, or the first winner, didn't get back to me in time, so I've had to move forward. But I wanted to record me drawing the bunny because I know that a lot of you have seemed to respond well to my little tutorial thing that I did for the puppy face. So I figure, well, I'll try it for this one, and if you guys like it, maybe this will kind of be my new way of doing these types of videos, or at the very least I could do it every couple weeks or something. I really appreciate everybody who commented and showed their support, and thank you everybody who has subscribed. I really appreciate it. Those are the types of things that will help grow my channel. And if you're not a member of Wajas, please consider joining, and you'll be able to get like free items and stuff just through my videos here, because I'm trying to include stuff like that. My last video, to get back on topic, my last video, I had the hidden message for people to say Wabbits with a W. And I do have a little miss in here, so we're going to have the occasional interruptions from a 2-year-old. I apologize ahead of time. So I have to figure out some kind of fun way to draw a rabbit, and my first impulse is to kind of have him like arched. I said I wanted to do long floppy ears, but you know what? I'm just going to kind of do ears like that, I think. And then we'll actually make this one a little bit more at an angle so it's a little more interesting to look at. And then we're going to have his face like that. See, and then he needs to have his neck. I'm not the best to explain how I draw out my characters. I know that I had a few people comment on the last one where they really wanted to know more about like shapes and everything to put together to do for the drawing. I kind of just... What?
My book.
Then go get a book. You don't need my permission to get a book. What I try to do is I try to picture things as 3D shapes. So like, you know, the circle for the head, and then the neck is more of like a cylinder. So I'll do like a cylinder. And then, you know, the body, so the rabbit's gonna have a rib cage, so I might do a big circle for the rib cage. And then you have the midsection, which would be smaller, and then the hips. So like his arm here, and rabbits have really thin, tiny forepaws and arms. So we'll do that. And then we're gonna just stick this one out. Though that's probably already too long, but I'm gonna go with it. You have itty bitty little toes. We'll have one eye here, one eye here. You know what? No, maybe I'll do a profile. Let's see how that looks. They don't have a whole lot of a snout. Well, I guess it depends on the breed of rabbit that you're looking at. I'm more or less thinking of domestic rabbits, and they have like a slanted, soft snout. And then you have nice big eyes. We want a cute little mouth. They don't have a whole lot of a mouth, so...
Oh my God.
Good job, Lulu.
I got it.
And they do have pretty good sized bones, like in their jaws here, or cheeks, or whatever you want to call that. And then we'll have him looking at... kind of at like the viewer, I guess. It's supposed to be at the viewer, but it's... not exactly there, so we'll do that. And then he's gonna have a little eye spot. What did you find?
I know.
Sounds like you found a whistle.
Yeah, fish.
A whistle?
Yeah, fish.
I didn't even know we had a whistle out here.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to clean up some of my lines here so we can all see it a little bit better. Hey. What is that? I don't think it's a whistle. Let me see. Bring it here.
Whistle.
Bring it closer. That is not a whistle. That's actually like a little toy screw.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, but I guess you can pretend it's a whistle.
Yeah, whistle.
Just don't put it in your mouth, okay?
Okay.
Not that she's gonna listen, she's gonna do what she wants. And then I have to be the bad one that say, okay, give it over, you can't play with it if it keeps going in your mouth. Alright, so there's the head, there's the ears. Now to figure out how I want his back legs. So, see, they have pretty good thighs. So I'm gonna maybe do that. Then you could be about the knee. See, I don't know about that. Let's see. Is that a snaky?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet,
See, we'll make him smaller.
sweet, on the face.
I don't want to be bitten in the face. Thanks.
You big boo boo.
Yep, now I got a boo-boo.
Don't find.
Oh, you said it's fine?
No, knife.
Oh, it's not fine? I'm kind of a messy sketcher usually, so we'll see if I can get this cleaned up so you guys can kind of follow it better. I'm gonna soften that. I don't like that back leg. Let's see, what if I just do it like that?
Come on.
Hi, baby.
What am I doing?
I am drawing. What are you doing? And then he needs to have a big fluffy tail. I'm gonna actually shorten his midsection here. So we're gonna pull this in and do that. You what?
I want cookie.
You want a cookie?
I have cookie.
I don't have cookies.
The cookie woo woo.
I don't have cookies.
I have cookies.
You have cookies?
I have cookies.
I want a cookie.
Hey.
What? Don't whisper.
Yep.
I can't draw if your head is in the way, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see, we'll flip it. See how it looks flipped. His head's not really at a good angle, so we're going to turn that a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And we'll put that neck back in there. He's gonna have a little shoulder blade. And rabbits usually have a pretty good hind quarter, so I'm gonna make him kind of poofy back there.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Lulu.
What am I doing?
I'm drawing still. What are you doing? It's a little messy, but you know, it's just sketch work. Let's see, what if turn this a little bit to make that a little bit more interesting. Let's try that. And actually, I had mentioned that I wanted to make it a mini lop. Show quality mini lops have these little things on their butt. I don't really know what it's officially called, but some breeders have really big like floof. So I'm gonna put that in. Make his belly a little bit wider. So clean that up so that has to go down. And then another fun thing that you can do is if you do like a distort or something, you know, I don't know, I guess it depends on the program that you're using and what kind of language it's going to use. Sometimes you can kind of play with the angle and see if something looks interesting. Kind of like that. Well, his head is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make his head just a little bit smaller. Oh, Mom wanted to. Hold on. Change the placement of this ear. Maybe like that. It's not super interesting, but the placement's a little more realistic, so I'm gonna do it anyways. It's not really a floppy ear, I guess, because you know he's running, so his ear is gonna go backwards like that. So we'll fix that a little bit. That's gonna go down a little bit. And there's my rough sketch of my rabbit. So I do apologize. Going back through the editing, I noticed that my daughter was kind of obnoxious through most of that clip. So I edited out what I could, lost a little bit of the dialogue, but hopefully you guys can still kind of get what's going on. I just fed her lunch, so hopefully we'll have a few minutes of quiet here. I wanted to exaggerate some stuff on the rabbit now, so it's not just your average rabbit. So I have dropped the opacity of that sketch and just kind of play around with it. So maybe we'll give him really big feet. It might be too big, but I'm gonna go for it. And then I'm gonna actually make his little butt floof really big, maybe. I don't know, that might not actually have been a good idea, but you know what, we'll continue. We'll just kind of play it out and see how it goes. I have a habit of judging before I've really gotten anywhere. And I'm actually gonna round the tail out so it's not at a point like that. And I'm gonna keep that foot there, those big feet, and leave his little feet like that. You can see his little toes. And I think I'm actually going to make his snout a little shorter, kind of like a dwarf breed. Let's see, and then he's gonna need a little eyebrow. His nose. And he needs an itty bitty little chin. And then maybe I'll actually give him some floof on his jawbone thing there. And then his neck. Though, you know, some rabbits have a dewlap. And the dewlap is this little extra skin they have under their neck. So like here's, let's say this is the chin here and the mouth. Some rabbits, especially after they've had babies, kind of form this dewlap. I've had rabbits where the dewlap is really big. It almost looks like I gave them a pillow and they just sit there and kind of sleep on it. I don't know if you can kind of see my scribble here. Here's like the nose and the mouth. So like the dewlap can actually be really big. Depending on the breed that you're working with, it's not really an ideal feature to have, though some breeds can be a little more forgiving. Mini lops, I don't think there was any rule about it, like if it was a disqualification or not. And I'm gonna actually make this foot a little smaller. And there are his legs. And then I was kind of debating about making this ear maybe wider and shorter. So we want to have that. And his other ear. And there we go. How's that look? Well, the little nose thing kind of looks like a little hair, so I'm gonna get rid of that line maybe. Clean that up. So Wajas, we do items a little bit differently than what I have been doing on here on YouTube. We actually usually have some kind of line art. You know what, I guess I will still do it the YouTube way and we'll just kind of see how it goes. So I'm going to scribble in some shading. Let's say the sun is right here. So this back leg is going to be pretty dark. It's going to be pretty dark over here for his little fluff in the back. We have his toes, and be a little bit of shade right there. This actually will probably be pretty shaded too. This is going to be shaded. Another thing too is they don't quite have such a prominent elbow, so we'll kind of blend that in. And then his back, or his tail rather, put some shade in there. Dark under there. Alright, so remember you're thinking of where the sun, where the light is gonna hit on the rabbit. So you want to keep that in mind as you are shading. This is probably still going to be kind of dark in here. Inner ear is going to be a little dark. A little dark there. Actually kind of looks like a wild rabbit now that I'm looking at this. Let's see. A little bit of shade in that. And there's kind of the start of the shade. So I'm using the same technique that I did in the how to draw a puppy video. So I'm using the smudge. Just gonna kind of clean it up a little bit, smudge all this around, get it nice and smooth. And then remember if you watched the other one, I guess. If you didn't watch it, you're not gonna really remember, will ya? So once you have that nice and clean, you'll go back through with the eraser to add the lighter areas or the detail. So if I go through with the eraser, I'm actually going to kind of clean up my edges a little bit here. And I want to have that toe visible, and I'm going to do the same over here. And then I'm going to break that line up a little bit with some hair detail. And then when you smudge it out, it doesn't really look like it has liner anymore. Somebody had commented or left feedback that the tapping was a little annoying. I don't really know how else I can do this, unfortunately, because I'm tapping to do like the smudging and everything, so I do apologize if that's something that bothers you. I'm not sure how to get around that. If you know how to get around that, please let me know and I will try to make those improvements going forward. Okay, so there's that back leg. Still using the smudge tool, I'm gonna go in and start smudging up the back leg, or the other back leg, making it nice and smooth and getting rid of all my texture. If you want to kind of avoid having the leftover texture, don't use a pencil. For some reason I keep using the pencil. I really should just use a regular paintbrush so that I don't have all this extra texture, but I do things the hard way sometimes, and then I guess this is no exception to that. I just want to make sure I don't have any of those little pixels left, so that it's nice and smooth. Again, I want his little toes to show, so I'm gonna just do that. Rabbits have pretty big fluffy feet. I think most people know that. Not a whole lot of thought goes into this. You're really just trying to blend it in, make it nice and clean. Once I get that base shade down, I'll go back through and I'll add detail. I'll paint in the detail. Because you can see I'm kind of losing some of my my shapes here, and that's fine. Because then I'm going to go back through and just kind of clean it up. So now you'll be able to tell where those things were supposed to be. You know, his little butt fluff there. And we want that tail to stick out, but we're going to actually not use the pencil so we can avoid adding in all that annoying detail or those little pixelations or textures, whatever you want to call it. We want it to look like fur, so it's okay to leave some of your brush strokes in there rather than it being like 100% fluffy. Kind of fluff that up a little bit. There's his little tail. It's not really in the right place, I don't think. I'm gonna see if I move it. Let's see here. Maybe we'll turn it a little bit. Stick it. Even then, it's still not quite in the right place. I'm gonna go with that. Smudge that out, and then I just have to kind of rediscover those details back for his little fluff there. Noticed I still have a good amount of texturing down here that we don't want. So I just want to clean that up a little bit. And once you zoom out, you're probably not going to notice it as much anyways, but I do kind of want that to be nice and clean. Kind of the downside to doing this style, I guess, is you kind of have to be really attentive for those outlines. Alright, so we have the front foot. And then remember, while you're doing this, you still want to pay attention to where the sun is supposed to be. So I have the sun kind of like above his head, so I want to make sure that I'm still paying attention to that and making sure I don't lose any of the shading that I've tried to establish. Even if you do lose it, you can go back through and clean it up, which I've already done through here. But save yourself time if you just kind of pay attention while you're shading and smudging things out. might not work for Wajas. We'll see how it looks in the end. I don't know if I'm going to be super happy with it though. I have a very particular style on the site that we need, and if this doesn't at least somewhat resemble it, probably I'm not going to use it. I have done things where there's a lot of detail before, but this is a little different, so I don't know. I want to make sure I can still see his little dewlap. So I'm just gonna erase in the detail. I'm not using white ink, I am erasing in that. And again, if you don't quite know why, I would suggest watching that How to Draw a Puppy video, because I go in a little bit more detail on how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, and you know how it works. So this is kind of a crash course on it, I guess. I'm not quite taking my time. Plus it's a smaller image, so it's a little bit easier. We're gonna make those fluffy. Actually add a couple little lines in here. I want that ear to really stand out too. I don't want it to blend in so much that you lose it. So there's that ear. And this is the tip of the ear is going to actually probably be fairly light because they have very thin ears, so color is going to show through them quite easily. You can even see blood lines, like the veins, blood lines. You can even see like veins and everything going through it, but I'm not going to go that far. So you get, you can probably hear the little miss in the background. I put her to bed. She's supposed to be sleeping. Instead, she wants to kind of holler like a puppy. But it is bedtime, so she needs to get some sleep. And then that gives us peace and quiet while I finish up this video. I'm gonna actually move the nostril in a little bit. Maybe move it up. I'm going to bring that down. Just kind of give it a little bit more shape so it's not so blocky. Oop, way too big. So make that smaller. They don't really have a super noticeable nose, but I'm gonna leave that because, you know, it's kind of a trait of cartoon rabbits, I guess. You know, they have like a little triangle nose. We're just gonna keep it for now. I will blend it out maybe. See how that looks. Still not happy with it, so let's see if I do this. And I'm gonna pull it in, maybe turn it. Let's try that and see how that looks. Let's see, now his mouth is way too big. So we're going to grab this. Move it up just a little bit. Go back through and kind of clean that up so you don't see that line. And again, I'm using the eraser tool to get in those details. I am not using white ink. I think what I'm actually going to do is, now that I've done that, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Using the eraser tool, I'm going to actually go in and I'm going to just start scribbling in some fur detail that I'm not going to smudge. And this way it kind of keeps it looking furry versus just looking super smudged out and smooth. And the nice thing too about drawing this way, if we want to start an animal collection of rabbits on Wajas, all I have to do is tweak the color so this can still be used for more rabbits if people like them and want more. So this is just adding a bit more detail to it rather than it just being super flat. And I had explained in one of my past videos that I breed rabbits. I actually am getting my program back started. A friend of mine gave me some mini satins last year. So I bred a bunch of them. It's probably been about a week now, so hopefully I'll have some babies soon. And some of you suggested making a video of them. I will attempt to do that, but no guarantees. At the very least I can do maybe some pictures or something. I don't know what I'll do, but I will try to accommodate those requests and see what I can throw together. If you want to kind of speed this process up, you could probably use a fur stamp. There probably are ways to do that so it still looks natural versus just like a copy and paste kind of feel to it. But this is a small image and it's not going to take me too long. And as you're doing the lines for the fur, you want to remember too the flow of the fur. Like if you picture a rabbit, how's the fur flowing on it? So like if you were watching when I went down the back leg, so the fur is going to continue that and it's actually going to curve right along with it and then go down. So just remember or think to yourself how the fur flows on the animal, and that'll be the best way for you to get it to look more accurate. And if you don't really know, go find yourself a rabbit and pet it and just kind of watch how the fur moves on it. I realize that's probably not really a realistic goal for some people if it's not that easy to get a hold of them. There might be even videos online of people petting their rabbits. And I'm also going to go back in with the black and just add some like darker details in the shaded areas. Make sure things are popping out where they need to be. We'll even give it a little couple whiskers. I'm going to smudge those just a little bit so they're a little softer. And we've already established that the sun is coming from here, so I'm going to cut that. They do have some fur on their ears, so I'm just going to go through and add some light detailing in there, but I'm not going to go too crazy. Despite what some people do, they don't really have long fur inside their ears. But again, people like fluff, so I guess you could still do fluff. It'll still look pretty cute. And there we have it. That is the bunny. I'm actually going to go back with my black. I'm going to just kind of add some detailing in the white here, because once I add the color, that's just going to be a flat area with no detail. So we're going to go back in and just add a little bit of detail so it kind of is not so abrupt. It's like a softer transition from shade to light. There is the bunny. I'm just going to quickly add some color and then get this uploaded. I still have a bunch of other stuff I have to do today, so I'm gonna quickly do this, and it'll be kind of the same deal that I did for the puppy. So if you want a more descriptive video, go back to that. I'm already close to a half an hour. I don't know if it's desirable to have a really long video. Not sure how many people are gonna sit through an hour-long one, so just gonna kind of quickly get this one started, or get this one shaded and get it uploaded. Then that way I can send it out to everybody who passed the secret game on that one video, and then get this video out because it's mostly edited, so hopefully it'll be a pretty quick one. This is the most I've been active on YouTube in a long time. So there's the base color. Going to Alpha Locket, and you know what, maybe we will let him be like a natural colored rabbit. So see, they have some cream down there. We'll do that. Put some cream around here. They have like a white tail, so we'll put some white here. would help if I had a picture reference, but I'm worried about losing time because I have to take advantage of when the little miss is down for a nap for me to get some work done. And I actually started another art doll. Well, I started it a while ago, but I'm back working on it, and I made some really good progress with one of them. I'm hoping I can get it done today. So I kind of want to get this one done, get this sent out, and then get back to working on the doll. Not going to be super accurate markings because, again, it would have been helpful to have a picture reference so that I can match the colors. But it's Wajas, and we have lots of fantasy stuff, so we'll just pretend that this is one of our own local Lunaria rabbits. I was trying to think of like a goodie coloring, but I can't really recall the exact markings off the top of my head. So this is gonna have to be okay. Let's see, we're gonna make the eye, I guess I'll make it brown. Not that fun, but kind of go along with the realistic touch. I'm gonna add another layer, and I'm gonna set this to multiply and drop it down a little bit. Just kind of work in some other colors so it's not just a quick shade. And I'm just using the base color for this, so when you use the multiply, it just kind of darkens the color that you've selected, and it or compares it to like the color you're scribbling over. I don't know how to describe it. I don't even know why I bother describing it because I am terrible at describing things. And even through this, you still want to remember where your light source is so that it makes sense. You don't want to suddenly lose the light source. I'm gonna go through and just gently smudge these out so they're not such thick lines. You want it to look it's part of it. And I'm gonna add another layer, clipping, set this to screen, and it's gonna be pretty much the same deal. You're gonna kind of pick the color that you are highlighting. You're gonna just scribble in color, and it would help if I actually had the paintbrush versus the eraser. Once I get those in, I'm going to just kind of give them a soft, gentle smudge so they're not so abrupt. Now zoom in. I'm going to focus on the eye because the eye really sells the piece sometimes. I'm going to just kind of work in some other shades here. Still utilizing the multiply layer and the highlight layer. I'm going to put a little bit on that nose too. There we have it. Our little bunny.